Why does the age-old adage, sex will never make him stay, ring true for many men? Is it embedded in their psyche, or is it just a myth? This is a question that has intrigued many for generations. Today we delve into this intriguing topic, exploring the complex interplay between love, sex, and the psychological differences between men and women. Love and sex, while intertwined, are not one and the same. They are distinct entities that often blur, leading to a whirlwind of emotions and misinterpretations. Men and women, being different in their emotional makeup and psychological framework, perceive and interpret these concepts differently. This difference in perception often leads to misunderstandings, heartbreaks, and at times, strained relationships. Understanding these differences and the motivations behind them isn't just an academic exercise. It's about understanding human behavior, the way we love, and the way we express our desires. Unraveling these differences isn't just fascinating, but it also helps in understanding relationships better. To understand why sex doesn't necessarily equate to commitment for men, we need to delve into the male psyche. Firstly, let's consider our biological instincts. From an evolutionary perspective, men are wired to spread their seed far and wide. This instinct, while not as relevant in today's society, still influences subconscious attitudes towards sex. Men may feel an innate drive to have multiple partners, which doesn't necessarily align with the concept of commitment. Next, let's discuss the phenomenon of separating sex and love. Many men can and do dissociate physical intimacy from emotional intimacy. For them, sex can be an act of pleasure, independent of deeper feelings. This doesn't mean that men are incapable of associating sex with love. Rather, it's a matter of choice and personal perspective. Moreover, societal pressures play a significant role in shaping men's perceptions of sex. Men are often conditioned to see sex as a conquest, a notch on their belt. This notion is perpetuated by media, peer pressure, and cultural norms, leading some men to view sex as a measure of masculinity, independent of emotional connection. However, it's important to note that these points are not universal truths for all men. Men, like women, are individuals with unique perspectives, experiences, and attitudes towards sex and relationships. Some men may equate sex with love and commitment, while others may not. Also, we must remember that societal norms and expectations are changing. Many men today are challenging traditional gender roles and expressing a desire for more emotionally connected relationships. They are rejecting the notion that sex is a conquest or a measure of masculinity. To add to this complexity, men's attitudes towards sex can change over time, influenced by personal growth, experiences, and relationships. What a man believes at 20 could be radically different from what he believes at 40. Thus, it's clear that for many men, sex can be separate from emotional intimacy. But why is it so? The answer lies in the intricate interplay of biology, personal attitudes, societal pressures, and individual experiences, all of which shape the unique tapestry of the male psyche when it comes to sex and commitment. On the other hand, women often view sex and love as interconnected, but what fuels this perspective? In the labyrinth of the female psyche, love and sex are often seen as interwoven threads, each influencing and enhancing the other. This perspective is fueled by various factors, both psychological and societal. One of the most significant aspects is the emotional connection women often intertwine with their sexual experiences. For many women, sex is not merely a physical act, but an emotional journey, a shared intimacy that deepens their bond with their partner. This emotional connection is often a crucial element, serving as a catalyst for love and amplifying its intensity. The significance of intimacy cannot be overstated. Intimacy, both physical and emotional, is a cornerstone of women's perception of love and sex. It acts as a bridge, linking the physical act of sex with the emotional landscape of love. The shared vulnerability, the mutual trust, the unspoken understanding, all these elements of intimacy contribute to the intertwining of love and sex in the female psyche. Then we have societal norms, which have a profound influence on women's perception of sex and love. Society often instills in women the belief that sex should be an act of love, that it should be reserved for someone special, someone they love. This societal norm can shape women's perspective, tying sex and love together in their minds. However, it's important to understand that these are general observations and not every woman fits into this pattern. Human psychology is complex and diverse, And women, like men, have a wide range of views on love and sex. Some women may separate sex from love, just as some men may intertwine them. Yet, it's these general trends that often create a dichotomy between the male and female perspectives on love and sex. Men who often separate sex from love and women who often intertwine them can find themselves at odds, their viewpoints clashing and causing confusion and misunderstanding. This juxtaposition between men and women's views on love and sex often leads to misunderstandings and heartbreak. The misunderstanding gap between men and women in relationships often boils down to their differing perspectives on love and sex. This gap, this chasm of misunderstanding, is where many of the conflicts in relationships take root. It's like two individuals trying to sing the same song but in different languages. They both know the tune, the rhythm, but the words, the meaning seems lost in translation. One of the most common misunderstandings is the belief that sex and love are interchangeable. That if a man desires a woman physically, it means he is emotionally attached to her. But as we've discussed earlier, for many men, sex can be a physical act, separate from emotional connection. This is not to say that men can't or don't associate love with sex, but the two are not always intertwined. On the flip side, women often associate sex with emotional intimacy. They see it as an expression of love and commitment. When this perspective clashes with a man's view, it can lead to feelings of confusion, betrayal, and hurt. So, how do we bridge this gap? How do we ensure that our relationships aren't plagued by these misunderstandings? The answer lies in two key ingredients: communication and empathy. Communication in this context isn't just about talking, it's about opening up, being vulnerable, and expressing your thoughts, fears, and desires. It's about asking questions, seeking clarity, and not assuming that your partner views things the same way you do. It's about understanding that love, like language, can be expressed in many different ways. Empathy, on the other hand, is about stepping into your partner's shoes, trying to see things from their perspective. It's about understanding that their experiences, their thoughts, their feelings are valid, even if they differ from yours. It's about creating a safe space where both parties can express themselves without fear of judgment or ridicule. Bridging this gap requires effort, understanding, and most importantly, communication. Yes, it might be difficult, and yes, it might be uncomfortable, but the rewards, a deeper connection, a stronger bond, and a more fulfilling relationship are well worth it. So does sex really make him stay? The answer isn't as straightforward as one might think. Now let's revisit the main points we've discussed in this video. We dove into the depths of male psychology and discovered that sex, although a significant component, is not the sole determinant of a man's commitment to a relationship. We also delved into the female perspective, understanding that love is a complex emotion that goes beyond physical intimacy. This journey led us to the misunderstanding gap, where we realized the importance of open dialogue and understanding in bridging these differences. Sex will not necessarily make a man stay. Love and sex are intricate, deeply personal aspects of human relationships that cannot be reduced to mere transactions or bargaining chips. Understanding these psychological differences can help foster healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Remember, love is about connection, understanding, and mutual respect, and not just about physical intimacy.